Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another episode on the Ameer book series with me, Osama Musa at Muslim Ameer. So, for this week's book review, I read Andy Harrington's Passion into Profits: How to Make Big Money from Who You Are and What You Know. So, very quickly about the book. It's literally a book that informs you and educates you on how you can utilize your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, and become somebody who coaches, mentors, and pretty much educates others and trains others on how to become better in a certain field that you are experienced or a specialist in. So this book is very relevant to anybody who feels that they have a certain wisdom, a certain power within them, something that they could really benefit their people or their community from, somebody that has a certain pain or a certain challenge that they have overcome and that they can now help others overcome this. So for example, I'm a leadership coach for Muslims, and this book is very relevant for somebody like me because it literally explains and gives a step-by-step process on how somebody like me can now deliver what knowledge I have. However, I'm already in this space, and maybe if I'd read this book a year or two ago, then everything within it would have been much more relevant to me. It is still extremely relevant for me. However, a lot of the stuff that Andy has said in here, I already knew. And I already knew it actually because I attended one of his events about 5 years ago, one of his seminars. And yeah, alhamdulillah. So a lot of the stuff he spoke about in the book I was already aware of. But it's a great book. It is a great book. Now let's go into the ratings of the book. So in terms of overall rating, I've given it an 8 out of 10 because it is a good book. And his writing style was very good, which I'm going to go into in a moment. But yeah, I just feel like, an overall 8 out of 10 is a good score for this book. It's easy to read. It's very simple. His writing style is very engaging. He's really, really good at storytelling. He's really good at capturing you. And even though it's a business personal development book, he really captures you. And it was a hard book to put down. You kind of from start to finish just want to finish the book, and not for bad reasons, for good ones, because he's so good at enticing you and keeping you a part of the journey. So that was really good. I really enjoyed it. So is it easy to read? Yes. Enjoyability out of 10, I've given it a 7.5. Probably deserves more actually. It probably does deserve more, but like I said, I want to be quite stringent, let's say, or strict with my ratings, because it's my third review, so I don't want to go into the territory where I'm giving things such high ratings and then I get really, really, really good books and I can't go above and beyond. So for enjoyability, I've given it 7.5 out of 10 because it was really enjoyable. It was really good, but it could easily get an 8 to 9 out of 10 for enjoyability because it was filled with stories. He's really good at talking and it's really informative, so really good. Beneficial wise, so for out of 10 for beneficial, I've given it 9 out of 10. I found it really beneficial, and I think anybody reading this book will really benefit from it, especially if you're somebody who wants to start a business, not really sure how to start a business, don't really have capital to start a manufacturing business or a business with a product as such that's physical, then this is really good. And if you're somebody who feels that you have an inner calling to serve people and to help people, then definitely read this book. In terms of how much I recommend it, again, 9 out of 10. Just because if it's relevant to you, then it's a 10 out of 10. If it's not relevant to you, I'd still give it a 9 out of 10 to read it, just because there's a lot of stuff in this book that might help you, even if you don't want to become a coach or mentor, but it could help you on a personal level. And I just found that really good. So some of the things that some of my takeaways from this book is that storytelling rather than hard selling is really important. So if you're somebody who's a salesman especially if you're selling a service or a product of yours, you want to storytell, you want to relate your selling to a method of telling a story where, you know, you're not pitching. You're taking the consumer from point A to point B through a story, and within the story you overcome the pains that they might have, the problems they might have, and you show them the solution at the end of the story. And it's an indirect way of selling, and it's very effective. Another really good point that he mentioned in this book, and it's actually something that I teach on my leadership courses and my, you know, business, the Ameer Business Builder, is you want to have intellectual property. You want to have something that is very uniquely named after you. So in law, they have these things called intellectual property, where it basically just means that anything that you put a name on when it comes to trading, it becomes yours. So, you know, for example, I have the Ameer Business Builder. That's the intellectual property on my product. So now nobody else can really call it that. And also it's something that when somebody hears the Ameer Business Builder, they straight away think of me, Muslim Ameer, and what I do. So that's what intellectual property is. And he was saying that to have that within all of your frameworks of your business, that is, you know, a coaching service or a mentoring service or a consulting service, because it just gives it that uniqueness. He actually calls it a unique branding solution or unique branding system. So he that's his intellectual property. He calls it a UBS. And yeah, and in this space, in this coaching space, a lot of coaches and a lot of mentors will tell you to have this. It's something that's in the field and is very common, and it's something that's very, very, very important to have. Also, he stated in the book that it's very important to create a plan of where you want to go and how you want to get there, and how you aim to move your audience to a buying decision. So that's really important, and you want to kind of have that in mind. So like, you know, the step 1, step 2, step 3 of the process of your consumer's journey with you. You know, they might not buy at step 1, there's an opt-in. At step 2, they get more information. At step 3, that's where they buy. So it's like a campaign of yours, and each step along the way you have a clear structure and a clear plan of taking your consumer through the buying decision making scenario. He also was very, very clear and very adamant on portraying that pull marketing is better than push marketing. So push marketing is when I say, here's my product, here's the price, buy it. Whereas pull marketing is where I'm giving value first. So he was very, you know, he was saying that times have changed now, and that using pull marketing is much better. So rather than you doing push marketing where you put an advert in the newspaper and say, come buy my stuff now, here you go, here's the price, you do pull marketing techniques where you put content out there, you put value out there, and you raise awareness, and people will then, you know, are aware of you, and they've got a bit of your information, a bit of your value first, and then now they're ready to buy from you at a higher ticket value. He also specified that joint ventures are really good. So partnering up with people that are in your space or outside of your space, that where you can access their audience and they can access yours, that's really good. So especially like mailing lists. So for example, I have a mailing list, you have a mailing list, we start sending things that's our content or our product, our services through your mailing list and vice versa. And, you know, we agree on a commission or a 50-50 partnership on revenue generated. You want to create different products. Obviously, this is something that a lot of people say, but you want to create products and have different stages and different levels of your products. Have low price points, high ticket items. And I'm trying to add something here that's not really in the book, but obviously you want to focus one product at a time. And you want to, for example, launch a product that you know is really good and it's selling. And then once that product is, you know, self-sufficient, self-standing, you can then start looking at other products, and that depends at what stage of your business you're at. And you want to drive enough value to the consumers for them to see, you know, what you have to offer. That's really important. There are also many other things that he stated. You know, one of his final chapters was to do with, you know, bringing out your personality and what's best within you and how you should set up your mindset to attack and to approach your business, and to feel confident enough to, you know, really put a product out there that is relating to your knowledge. Also, there was something that is really important within this book that he kept referring to, which is public speaking. Obviously, that's because he's a public speaking coach, and he's a public speaking university, and he was using a lot of tactics within the public speaking and how to, you know, become a better public speaker within this book, which I found really, really, really nice. Overall, I think it's a really good book, especially if you're somebody who's looking to get into this space. And even if you're not, it's a really good book just to understand and give you a different way of thinking when it comes to maybe business or human interaction. You know, there was a point where he mentioned the 4 archetypes that we have within our personalities, and he said that there's the sage, the warrior, the lover, and the jester. Basically, the jester is like the fun, bringing out the fun element things within you. The lover is basically where you are open and you show your vulnerability. The warrior, which obviously is self-explanatory, you know, the warrior within you, and the sage, which is like the thinker. And yeah, that was really nice as well. So overall, like I said, I'm giving the book a solid 8 out of 10 rating, and I do highly recommend the book if you are somebody who just wants to, you know, gain some knowledge, experience, or want to share your knowledge and experience and become a coach or a mentor. So I've been Osama Musa at Muslim Ameer. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ameer book series episode 3, and inshallah you have found this video valuable and informative. And if every week, if there's any books you want me to read, you want me to review, then drop them down in the comments below and I will be sure to do that for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow us on all the social media platforms at Muslim Ameer UK. Jazakumullah khair for listening. I'll see you on the next book review, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.